Welcome everyone to the second event here in SBR, the GT3 League from Mount Panorama. So Kevin took pole from Sean with Liam 3rd, Coolis 4th, Ben 5th, Lewis 6th, Coleman 7th, Bobby in 8th, Ricky 9th, Adam 10th, Gemini 11th, Steph 12th, and Andy and John in the final row. But we get started here. Kevin has the inside line into turn 1. He makes the best start from Sean, who starts alongside. He will take the lead and he will storm off with it. That Jaguar's great straight line speed. We will see an on-board start from Lewis, who had a great start. You can see Liam and Coolis both with a lot of wheel spin. Lewis taking advantage of that. He gets a slight hit from the Jaguar into turn 1, but that is P3 for him. Now Liam's start. The Porsche, not always a great starter. He managed to sort of match Coolis. He's down the inside and ahead for now. That Jaguar has a lot of speed in the straight line, so the Porsche was always going to be under threat, and that is exactly what happened. As Liam off the racing line, no slipstream. The Jaguar with the slipstream was always going to take that place, and Coolis took P4 from Liam on the run down to turn 2. Meanwhile, while that was going on, Adam and Ben were having a scrap. Adam managed to get that one done down the inside, and just a corner later, Coleman got it a bit wrong. Adam trying to have a look around the outside, but a small mistake, and he undoes all of his hard work, loses that place to Ben, and instantly back down to 9th. Meanwhile, Liam was having a tough first lap, and this put Bobby and the NSX all over him. A perhaps over-ambitious move into Forrest's elbow, and Bobby loses his momentum, doesn't really affect Liam, and this allows Coleman to straight away get onto the NSX. And the racing line is sort of on the middle to right hand side down here, so Coleman's gonna get the slipstream. Bobby giving him a car's width plus a millimetre. But as they get into the chase, Coleman has that move done. In fact, Coleman has got such an overspeed, he's sort of half defending from Bobby, half looking at Liam, but he keeps that 6th place. Meanwhile, one Lexus was making a move, one was being passed. Or so we thought, as Adam then proceeded to go far, far too deep into the chicane, finding the gravel trap, and just having to crawl his way back onto track, rejoining down in 11th. All seemed to settle down at the front. Coolis was having a fight with the BMWs, wanting a 1-2, but it went all wrong from at turn 1. Liam avoids him. He comes across the track, manages to have a crash with Coleman. And we'll see on board with Coleman. You can see why. Liam's lucky to avoid him, and Coleman just unlucky. There's no way of telling which way that Jag was going to go. Now Adam, trying to recover from his lowly position, passes Ricky, who made a mistake, then instantly goes around the outside of Steph, and then passes an injured Coleman, so it's 3 positions in 2 corners for Adam. Again, while all this was going on, Lewis had managed to pass his teammate Sean, but Sean was having none of it, and instant moves straight back down the inside into the chase. Lewis is never going to fight that one back with the 2 BMW teammates. Ben, running super softs, was the first to pull the trigger. He would be followed by Coleman and Adam. Meanwhile, the soft runners, Sean making a mistake. His teammate Lewis almost follows him, and this allows Liam's Porsche instantly onto the back to apply pressure. But having made their stop, Coleman went too deep on his brakes, went into the side of Adam, and rightfully so, he returned the place to the Aston Martin. But now Sean, he was going a lap early, he pitted a lap before Lewis and Liam. And now Coleman was on the charge again, this time passing Adam's Aston Martin with a fantastic move around the outside. The Lexus not a good car in a straight, so that is a good move for Coleman to pull off. But Adam wasn't settling with that. He was going to have a look back into turn 2. But with the outside line, that was always going to be tough, and Coleman keeps that. But then Coleman gets it slightly wrong, and we've seen these two in this position before on lap 1. Adam around the outside. He just taps the wall this time, not as heavy as last time, but with the inside, Coleman keeps that place. Liam chasing down Lewis. He's going to repeat what Adam did, go straight off over the chicane. Loses time, but now it's time for the soft runners to pit. Leader Kevin, Lewis and Liam all in, followed by some others. And when they came out, Liam passed Lewis in the pit lane, but found himself behind Bobby, who'd pitted a lap early like Sean. And as Liam tried to pass him, Bobby moved right at the same time as Liam, and there was nowhere for Liam to go. But just later that lap, Liam trying down the inside, Bobby moving left under braking, leaving Liam with nowhere to go, and actually susceptible to an overtake from Lewis's BMW. Lewis would have the inside line for the final corner. Liam would sling it around the outside, and it was just going to be a drag race down to turn 1. But Liam would have the NSX's slipstream, and he was going to come out on top of that battle. Just a lap later, into the final corner, Bobby goes defensive. Liam brakes early to try and do a switchback, but then Lewis goes into the back of Liam. Liam just about keeping it on track, saving Bobby for just a little bit longer. Lewis backs out of the move, letting Liam go ahead, rightfully so. And now Coleman, having already pulled off one brilliant move, was looking for another, as he then, at the top of the mountain, passed down the inside of Steph. A little bit of contact. You can't really avoid it in that part of the track. And that is a brilliant move from Coleman up into 7th. Meanwhile, Liam finally had his chance. He was alongside Bobby, and he'd managed to even get the move done before they even got to the chase. But while Bobby still had a chance, he was going to try and fight this back, picking up a slipstream out of the chicane. Bobby jinks one way from outside to inside, thinks about out-braking Liam, but can't. Liam lives on, but it gets even worse for Bobby as Lewis, just one corner later, down the inside, and the BMW would go on to out-drag the Honda into 4th place. But just seconds later, Bobby was having none of it, down the inside into turn 2 with a bit of contact made. It would go side by side up into the turn 3 kink. Lewis would have the inside though, but would then proceed to just tap the inside wall, holding him and Bobby up, allowing Ben, who just made his second stop, for another set of super softs. But Adam, having seen what Coleman did to him, proceeded to then do the same to Ricky in the GTR and put himself up to 9th place. Now, Bobby had more pressure to deal with. He had Ben's Lexus. Bobby defending right. Ben goes left as Bobby goes left, causing Ben to tap into the rear of the NSX, ending any chance of an overtake. But just seconds later, Bobby gets it all wrong, slamming into Ben. Bobby coming off far worse out of the two of them, and Sean having the audacity to try a 2-stop, and why not? He's held his 2nd place and has fresh tyres. But not so fresh tyres anymore. Adam, chasing down Steph's Mercedes, has a big crash coming down the hill. Then just a lap later, Bobby, just a little further down the hill, has his own crash. He's absolutely destroyed his rear tyres. Coleman goes through, and Steph, perhaps a bit blindsided and seeing a car there, has his own spin. And then while that's all going on, Ben, Forrest's elbow, has his own spin, going in too deep and braking and going on throttle too early. But it's Kevin who wins. Sean will take 2nd, pulling off the 2-stop. Liam would had a scruffy final lap, allowed Lewis to apply pressure, but he did enough. Liam came home in 3rd, with Lewis 4th. Ben, despite his spin, managed to hold on to his 5th place, ahead of teammate Coleman, who had recovered well from his crash with Coulis. Steph would take 7th. Bobby, with absolutely destroyed rear tyres, drifting through the final corner. And it would be Adam, Coulis, and Ricky to finish 9th, 10th and 11th. John crawled across the line in 12th place, and then DRL Gemini, in place of Brian, took the final place.